Tyson is not bad fighting on the back foot. Usyk isn't good on the back foot. As soon as that first bell goes, bang. And I'm telling you, it will not go the distance.
Charlotte Daly with Male Sport Boxing, joined by Frank Warren. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad.
Excellent.
I want to start by talking about the first fight, obviously. George Foreman once said that even the best fighters can get carried away in the moment and caught up in the moment. Do you think that's what happened to Tyson Fury?
I don't think he got caught up in the moment. I mean, there's a bit of showboating in there, but he got caught. Rather than getting caught up in the moment, he got caught with a good shot. And it was in that 8th round. You know, from rounds 3 to 7, Tyson was dominating the fight, and he had Usyk in trouble at the end of the round. And I thought, and a lot of people around me thought he would probably stop him in the next round. Caught him a good shot, and he wobbled. But Usyk came flying out. He kissed that cross and come flying out and caught Tyson. He caught him on the nose, and Tyson sort of lost his focus, his momentum, whatever you want to call it. He kept touching his nose, touching his face. Mm-hmm. And then the next round, the 9th round, was just it sort of wasn't his round, obviously. And then he seized the moment, Usyk, and come close to stopping him. And the referee gave him a standing 8 count. He walked back to his corner, and next round everybody again thought Tyson was going to get stopped, but he couldn't do it. He was very smart in that round. He was slipping and moving, and Usyk couldn't quite catch him. And then the same in the 11th round. And Tyson won the last round on all the judges' scorecards, and looked the fresher of the two fighters at the end of the fight.
Yeah. You said there about the fact that Tyson was almost showboating and having a bit of fun in the ring. A lot of people are saying that he needs to be more serious and he needs to cut that out. But
he does.
We know that Tyson is his best self, though, when he's having fun. So it's a fine margin, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, he does it sometimes. I think it's it's like saying, you're doing that, and in some ways you're fighting somebody and they're not doing so well, and you get fighters can sort of do those, have the ability. Some people might not like seeing it, but they have the ability to sort of make the guy like, oh, you missed, I'm slipping, I'm flying, and it can, mentally it can sort of do him in a little bit, but it didn't, and he stayed focused. Usyk, he's a total professional. Usyk, I mean, he's a top quality fighter. And Tyson can't afford to do that this time. And he's not doing it. He's changed everything what he's doing for this fight. He's not spoken to his wife and some of his family for the last 3 months. He's been locked up in camp. He's reduced a little bit the amount of people who are with him. I've hardly spoken with him. Yesterday I spoke, see him, he looks so well. I've heard the reports back and I get told what's going on, but I haven't actually spoke to him because he's shut everybody down. Put his blinkers on. 21st of December, Riyadh season, I'm going to come back and I'm going to beat this guy and take the titles back home.
Tyson's always been someone that has a close-knit kind of community around him, and he does like being around those people. But as you said, he hasn't spoken to his wife. He's apparently been doing a lot of his fitness drills by himself. Do you not think that's a bit isolating for him, especially having just come off the back of the loss? Would he not want to keep those people closer to him?
I think for him, he needs to get into a mind where, this is my opinion, in his mind just needs to be Usyk. This is what I've got to do. I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to know if there's a little bit of problem at home. I don't know if he's got businesses. I don't know if I've got a business problem. All I want to do is focus on this. This is what I want. This is what my career, my defining fight now in my career. I need to win this fight. It's not about the belts. It's about beating the guy who got the decision in the last fight, in a very, very close fight, split decision. He needs and feels he's got to do this to win that. I've got to sacrifice. I've got to be in that mood. I've got to be in that mindset. I've got to focus on this is what it is. This is what I want. And it's not going to be deviated. No one's going to distract me. I don't want to know. Blinkers on, that's it. And that's where he's at.
With Tyson, in his book, he says that on a daily basis, he faces the devil because of his mental health struggles. How much do you think that will have intensified, though, after the loss? Because he's always been this brash personality that, is this unbeaten guy. How much do you think the loss will be actually weighing on him?
Tyson's a very philosophical guy. He's bipolar. I mean, I'm not telling stories out of school. That's what it is, and that's a horrible thing to have, because at the end of the day, you don't know some days where you're going to be. It's what it is. You know, it is what it says. You got to buy mind. You're up and you're down, and boxing has been, and he says it himself again, that's been his saviour. And what's got him through is, I'm training in the gym, whatever, and he can get down. He could be a little bit down. He loves his training, but he has to have a purpose to the training. And what I feel, and I'd like him to get, is the purpose to the training is dealing with your bipolar. For him, the purpose of training, I've got to fight at the end of it. I've got to have a purpose to fight. And that's where he's at now. I have to have a purpose. My purpose is to win back those belts, to beat Usyk. So that's his mindset. It's not about anything else. Listen, that's my view of it. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. That's how I feel it is with him. And he's in a... I've never seen him in this frame of mind, to be quite honest. The frame of mind that he's in suggests to me that that's all that matters. And if that matters and he comes through it, then he's achieved and he's dealt with what was a big problem for him. And remember, he's dealt with things much tougher than this. He's dealt with suicide, contemplating suicide, that much away from doing it. The boozing, the bloating up, 11 stone overweight, the drugs and everything else. He's dealt with all these things. And that's him who's dealt with it. He's had support of his family. He's dealt with that. And this is another thing for him to deal with in his mind. In his mind, he's got to deal with that loss, which he felt he won, by the way.
Yeah.
He's got to deal with that loss.
Do you think, I mean, I've heard so many interviews since the fight, and it's almost like people are kind of, when they think of the first fight, they're making it out that it was a lot wider than it was. I think people are forgetting how much of a flip of a coin it could have been, that it was so tight.
I watched it back last night. There was nothing in it. I thought he won it. But for me, it's a fag paper. And had that 9th round not happened that way, the other judge would have given it to Tyson. Tyson would have won the fight 2-1 on the judges' scorecards. That's how tight it was. And I think there's a few haters out there who, I'm talking about journalists who don't like him for whatever reasons, and I think they were quite dismissive about what he's done in the past. Going to Germany, beating the best heavyweight of his generation in Klitschko, beating him on the other guy's backyard when he went in as a massive underdog, going to the States. 2 fights he went into, underdog in both those fights against Wilder, won those fights. Even Usyk, the last fight, Usyk was the favourite with a lot of people, and Usyk's a big favourite this time round. So he's used to being an underdog. He's used to that. And I think it's good that he's going to this fight as an underdog.
He thrives off it, yeah.
He thrives off it. He loves to go out and prove people wrong. He loves, and I think that's his state of mind. At the moment, he's like this guy, I can't say animals, that's a horrible expression, but it's like a trapped animal. He's there and he knows what he's got to do to get out there. He knows he's got to get out there and that's it. You can feel the energy in him. Yesterday, I was talking to him very briefly, but the energy of him, you can see it, you can feel that around him. Because I was a bit worried. I thought, how is he now? He's got plenty of money, he doesn't need to fight. He's only in there, of course he's getting paid, but he's in there because of this. Because of that, as is Usyk, by the way. Usyk's another fighting man. 2 noble guys, two great exponents of the art of boxing, the best heavyweights of their generation, the best heavyweights of the 21st century, in there. Very similar in their backgrounds. Had a lot of problems in their backgrounds. Obviously, Usyk with the war and losing his dad, who he's very close to. Tyson, he's had some terrible things happen to him as well. And they've overcome them. They've overcome adversity. Both of them. They're fighting men.
Yeah.
Great guys, both of them. I mean, I like these. They're really good guys. Both. I admire them both. And I was doing an interview earlier, and I said to them, boxing is the noble art, and they're noble people. Boxers go in there, they get in the ring, they've got their boots on, their gloves on, and their shorts on, bare-chested, because that's what they do. They bear everything. Their heart, their soul. in front of an audience. It's not a team game, it's them in the ring, one against one. And these two guys, I'm telling you, will give everything. They will not leave anything outside the ring. It'll all be in there on the night.
Yeah. Tactically, people are making a lot about Tyson's weight and the fact that he'll try and lean on him and try and use his weight advantage this time around. Do you think that that's something? I mean, we saw it against like Cunningham, for example. He was able to adapt mid-fight and use that weight advantage. Do you think he'll be able to do that against someone like Usyk with the agility and the kind of lateral movement he
it'd
has?
be interesting to see Usyk, because remember, Usyk now is now he is a proper heavyweight. I mean, you know, like David Hay come up, like Holyfield come up. He's an established heavyweight for the last 4.5, 5 years. He looks big. He's bulked up. He's a big guy. Is he going to have the speed that he had? You know, you got to look at that. So suddenly he's carrying a lot of weight. Is he going to be as fast as he was? What Usyk done in the last fight, the first bell went, he came out and he put it on Tyson, backed him up, because he knew he had to back him up. But Tyson is not bad fighting on the back foot. Usyk isn't good on the back foot. So what is going to happen? As soon as that first bell goes, bang, one of them will have to try and take the centre of the ring. One of them's going to be pushing, or both of them will be trying to push each other back. That's why it's going to be a good fight. And I'm telling you, we'll not go the distance.
Not go the distance. Well, my last question for you, obviously looking ahead, this fight is monumental for the heavyweight division. 2025 could very much be the changing of the guard. We've got the AJs, we've got the Furies, we've got the Usyks that could walk away from the sport at some point. How do you think that leaves the state of the heavyweight division when they do walk away?
Well, like you know, it always happens. These guys do, you know, they reach a period of time in their life where do they want to fight on? Do they need to money and stuff? They're all very, very wealthy guys. They've done brilliantly for themselves out of boxing. So that we'll see next year. But boxing's in good hands. I mean, all this young generation, this crop of young fighters coming through, and it's exciting times. Look how many exciting heavyweight fights we've had in the last 12 months. It's just been amazing. And look how strong we are in the UK. You take Usyk out of it and it's Great Britain.
We're spoiled.
Well, I mean, I grew up in an era where British heavyweights, all they did, they went and fought for world titles and got beat. These guys are going and winning, and they're doing it, and the world looks to us now for the heavyweight division. That's where all the action is.
It's nice to hear it. Nice to have it that way.
It is. Good old Blighty.